All right, so I've had a couple of comments about tonight's or about what's going on for class, and I just wanted to make a short video and kind of show you what you guys should be working on. First off, when you go to python.org, go to downloads. This is what I'm looking for right here, this download Python 3.1215. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to download it, and so I'm going to click on it, and it's just going to run here. So I currently have it installed, but I think there is a little checkbox that you should look at, and it says something along the lines of add it to the path. So you should definitely click a little button that says like add this to the path. I'm not gonna, if you're on a Mac, it might be different than this too. So it should pick which version you're doing based off that. So let's let this finish up. While this is installing, I want you to also look at the download for PyCharm, which is a little bit different than Python. Okay. So for PyCharm, you come over here, and this is PyCharm Professional. You're not supposed to get this one. Okay, this is PyCharm Professional. Instead, if you scroll down, and it's not very obvious, it's this one down here, the Community Edition. So I'm on a Windows box, but this is the one I'm going to want. So I'll click that, and I'll open that one up. And that's the one that I'm going to want. So let me show you a little bit about PyCharm now that I have that installed. I think this is almost finished. So my PyCharm is 2024 1.6, and I probably shouldn't have it open while I'm installing Python. It's going to probably throw some errors. I'm just gonna let this finish up doing the reinstall of the Python. Hopefully that will not cause any problems. All right, it just added it to the path, which is important, and I click close. All right, so now I'm going to open up PyCharm. Okay, so I'm going to do the install for PyCharm, which I've done. It's the Community Edition. Okay, and I'm going to start up a new project. Right, so when you do that, okay, you're going to get this screen. Okay, like this, and you can say New Project. Okay, so I'm just going to click the New Project, and you're going to get a screen that looks something like this. Okay, let me just bring this down a little bit so it's not so big. I don't know why it's so big. Okay, so we'll just make it fit a little bit better. Okay, so it looks something like this. The first thing you want to do is give your project a name. Okay, so I'm just going to Python projects, perfectly fine. And where am I going to put it? It's going to go into Python projects, and then I want it to have an environment, a virtual environment. Okay, so we have a virtual environment, and then I'm going to pick my Python version. And this right here is Python 3.12, which is perfectly fine. Okay, and when I click that, make a project for that, I'm just going to click create, and it's just going to build the project. It's going to create a virtual environment, and then it's going to build the project. The virtual environment, so this says Microsoft Defender is installed. Well, I just closed that. It doesn't really matter. And you'll notice that down here, the whole Python project just built really fast. Okay, and Python, this is the white desktop theme. You can change that by going into settings, I think, and appearance, and you can change it to the dark theme. Okay, I kind of like the light theme, but you can change it to whatever is best for your eyes. Okay. This VENV folder is the folder that is used for your virtual environment. I want you to minimize that and never open it back up. Don't put anything in there. Okay, so if you're going to make a new file, you're going to right click and say new, and you can say Python file. Okay, and you can just call it your last name, and notice how it adds this .py extension. Okay, one other thing that you should do is you should go up here and go to settings, and then go to the plugins. And in plugins, you need to find the GitHub Copilot plugin, and you need to install that. Okay, so you click on it, activate it, and install it. Okay, and then you'll want to connect your GitHub Copilot with GitHub. Okay, so you'll go into GitHub and authorize it and do all that, and it works really, really well. Okay. Now I can write my first application, okay? And then I'll just do a hello world. So I can just actually hashtag # and create a hello world application, hit enter, and GitHub Copilot's thinking right now with this little light here, right? All that AI actions. It doesn't really, it's not, sometimes it doesn't jump in right away, right? And make it for you. However, if I open up chat and say I need a hello world print statement, and it'll kick it out here, and I can copy that and I can paste that in here. Okay. And now it's going to start, the chat will start to work almost immediately. I can also, now I can say, make a new line asking a user for it's even trying to tell me their name. And it actually says name equals input. What is your name? Okay. And so as you go through this week's lecture, or I guess content thing, it will talk to you a little bit about variables. And this is a variable here. The variable bucket is called name. And the input is what is your name is going to be whatever the user puts into here is going to go into this bucket named name. And you can use it. So I'm going to say name equals that. I hit tab and it does. And then let's do something with name. So let's say uppercase the name. Okay. And if I do that, now the name will be uppercase. Okay. And now I can print out the name, right? So print the name and it will say hello, the name. And now when I run the application, so up here at the top is current file. That means whatever current file, if I have a second file, or I can just pick the file that I'm at, I can say right here, and I can also tell it to run. Okay, so I can run Marshall. So I can either run whatever current file is selected. So I can have a whole bunch of files open, or I can just right click and say run Marshall. And when it runs, watch what it does. It runs right down here. Hello world, what is your name? And I could say Samantha. And it will say hello Samantha in all caps. Okay, it does exactly what I say. So these lines here are called comments. This is a print statement because it prints out hello world. Okay, and this is the name, the variable. I grabbed what is your name. What is your, we'll just change that to first name. And I'm going to run it again. Okay, so what is your first name? I changed it first. Now that's where first is there. And notice up here, it is running. Okay, that's running because it's got this little thing that says you want to stop it. So I could stop it from running by clicking the little stop button. So if I happen to maybe write a loop that just goes on forever and ever, I can stop it. Okay, or I can refresh it. Okay, but right now I'm going to say my name is John Michael. And it will say, hello, John Michael. Okay, so that's the whole app. And I actually didn't have to do a whole lot of programming because I used the Copilot to basically to write it. I basically just told it in the comments what I wanted, and it would tell me what it would output it, just like this. So anyway, so let's just cover what we did. We create a new file. We use this Copilot to add some basic text here. And now we need to push it out to our version control, right? So if I go up and I say VCS and I want to share project on GitHub, okay? So I have GitHub going and I'm going to click on what I want it to be called is called Python project. And I'm going to probably say, that's probably a pretty good one. There might already be one out there. It might throw an error, but we'll see. And I don't know what this is, but we'll just say share and see if this throws account cannot be empty. Let's add an account, log in via GitHub, and we're going to say authorizing GitHub. So it's going to go and it's successfully authorizing GitHub. We can close that page. So let's come back here and say, there it is, GitHub, BA Marshall 06. That's my GitHub account. I'm going to click share. And it says there's already one there because this is the default. So I'm just going to add a couple ones on the end of that and share it. Okay. And it says, what do you want to do? Do you want to put this all out there? And I personally, the first time, I don't really care. I like the one that I really want to do is I really want to make sure this one gets pushed out there. So it looks like it's all going to be add, and if I click, it says successful, shared the project on project 1111. And if I open up GitHub, I can go back and look at all of my projects on GitHub, look at my repositories, and the newest one is here. And if I look in here, I should see that idea folder, and I should see my marshall.py. Now, when I click on marshall.py, it has my whole application here. Okay. Now, if I want to change something, I could probably change something here, but I don't think it will. I don't know if it will run inside here because you need to have the thing run. It might. I don't know. I haven't tried it. But let me go back and let me say change it to title case instead of uppercase. We'll title case the name. Okay. And let's run that. So I'm going to run it. What is your name? And I'm going to say James, Fred, and Tim. And I'm going to hit enter. And now they're all in title case, James, Fred, and Tim. Now I made a change here. If I click on this little commit button here, it says you've got to change. So I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to say, you know what, send everything up. And I'm not going to amend. I'm just going to say send everything up. But I've got to put a little thing here. I'm going to say first change everything title case. And I'm going to commit, but I'm also going to commit and push. So I want to say not just commit, it means save it. Push means send it out to GitHub. So I'm going to say commit and push, and it's going to go really fast. It's going to push everything out there. And it says everything's been pushed. Everything's awesome. Okay. It's all done. And if I come over here and hit refresh, now it says title case, and the application has been changed. Okay. Now, if I want to share this repository, I go into settings and I click on collaborators, and it says you got to sign in again as that. But once I get logged in, that's where I'm going to do it. Settings and collaborators. Okay. And I'm going to collaborate with BA Marshall 06. So make sure you collaborate with me, and it will send me a little email, and we will be good to go. So sorry, this is so much talking, but I'm super excited to get that email and question so we can help everybody with what their assignments this week is. So have a great week. Email me if you got more questions. I'm glad to make more videos.